If you are pregnant and you have been bombarded with all kinds of information about how terrible postpartum is, well, everybody's experience is different, but I'm here to tell you that I had a great experience and I'm going to share with you what helped me the most. I'm Juli Bauer Roth, the food, fitness, and lifestyle blogger behind PaleoMG. Welcome to my channel. I'm here to share my favorite food, workout, and wellness tips to help you live your best damn life. And talking about best damn life, let's talk about newborn life. Let's talk about postpartum. I am 9 weeks postpartum today, and I've had a great experience. I was so worried. I was worried about postpartum anxiety, postpartum depression. I was worried about the sleepless nights and not really enjoying my time with my child and all the different things that go along with postpartum, peeing yourself, you can fix this, but things that you're told, peeing yourself, gaining weight, not being able to lose weight, your hormones being out of whack, all kinds of different things I was bombarded with, and it really scared me about postpartum. And let's first remind you, if you haven't heard this a million times, everybody's experience is totally different. My birth experience was completely different than all the other girls in my birth center group. My postpartum experience has been completely different because postpartum has to do with a lot of different things, not only what's going on in our bodies, how our birth experience was, but the support we have around us, the sleep we're getting, the nutrients we're getting. There's so many different pieces. So hopefully what I've experienced can help you on your own journey postpartum. I don't know if it will, but that's what I'm hoping for. So I'm going to share my top tips of how to heal in your postpartum period, and so you can feel your best and feel like you're excited to go through this newborn stage, because newborn is so cool. And by the way, I have had a colicky and a gassy baby the entire time who has not slept hardly at all, and I've still loved the experience. I can't wait for all the other phases down the road, but this experience has been so cool. So don't be scared by everybody else. There's a lot of fun stuff to come. Now, first on the list of healing postpartum is something I've talked about many times here on YouTube, on Instagram, on my blog, all different places. Nutrient-dense foods. You have to prioritize nutrient-dense foods. And that means you might have to advocate for yourself, because oftentimes people come over and they bring casseroles, they bring treats, they bring stuff from restaurants because it's easy, but you need the nutrient-dense foods that are going to help you rebuild from the inside out. And something I did was my postpartum meal prep. I have a YouTube video about this and a blog post to pair with it so you can get all of my recipes. So I'll link that below. But you want to make sure you're prioritizing foods that are rich in collagen and gelatin so you can rebuild those tissues that have been broken down during pregnancy and during birth. So I really prioritized my food first and foremost. I had bone broth every day. I had iron-rich foods like red meat and meat off the bone that were going to be packed with gelatin as well. I just made sure to get a ton of nutrients in the form of lots of vegetables, different fruits, electrolytes, making sure I was getting a ton of water in along with salt as well. All those nutrient-dense foods are going to help you so much, not only in your body, but in your mind as well. Number 2. Now this one is definitely debatable, but I can't test it either way, but I think it worked for me. Placenta encapsulation. Placenta encapsulation is when someone, a professional, or you could do it yourself, do you, is going to dry out your placenta and then put it into pills. You can also consume your placenta. I know people who put it in the freezer and then put it into smoothies. Whatever floats your boat. I couldn't stomach that. It didn't sound good to me, so I did encapsulation of my placenta. As soon as I gave birth, you also give birth to the placenta. I had it put on ice, and then I gave it to a professional that I trusted who encapsulated it and got it to me the next day. Maybe it was 2 days later. But I started taking my placenta pills every single day. After birth, you're depleted of a ton of vitamins and minerals, B6, B12, iron, and also your hormones are all out of whack. Your placenta, a new organ that you grew yourself, has been removed along with these vitamins and minerals and sex hormones. The thought, which, it's not proven, but the thought is that in consuming this placenta, it helps with balancing those hormones, increasing your energy, and many people have said that has really helped with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. Now, there is not much research, and the little research that has been done There's no proof in this. This is just anecdotal. So many women have talked about having a great experience when they've consumed their placenta. There have been other women who've experienced negative side effects like an increased feel of anxiety, maybe increased energy, oftentimes feels like anxiety, and other women have had an incredible experience with it. Now, what really made me decide to do this is I had friends who had not encapsulated their placenta and just had children and went on their way, and then other women who encapsulated their placenta, ate those pills, and then they said they had a much better experience. But obviously every pregnancy and every birth is completely different. So you never know what your experience is going to be if you didn't take those pills or if you did. For me, I started taking the pills right away, every single morning, and I felt like I could feel the difference if I ended up forgetting to take my pills that day. I could feel that my energy was a little bit low, my mood was a little bit off, and then I would take those pills and I would feel better. Is this placebo? Maybe, but placebo is so incredibly real. So I believed that these pills would help me, and they did. Who knows what it is, but I think it made a huge difference in my recovery and feeling really great. I never had postpartum depression. I never had postpartum anxiety. I felt like my mood was really level. I only had a few bits of crying after birth where your emotions kind of get the best of you, but I had a really steady experience, which was not what I had heard from other people. So that was really, really cool. Number 3, and this would be an incredible gift to get someone if they're in the postpartum period, or if you can buy it yourself or put it on your registry, an in-house massage. I booked massages with my masseuse who did my abdominal uterine massage on me while I was pregnant. And I think that played a huge part in why I had a great birth, was because my uterus was in line with my cervix and it made an easy exit for Averys. But afterwards, your uterus has to come back down to size. And so I booked these uterine massages where she massages your uterus because it can tilt, it can kind of move back and forth, and then it gets it back into a better position while also getting it to come back down to size a little bit more each time you get a massage. But physical touch is so important. It's so important postpartum. Not only do you have a baby suckling at your teat, but your body just feels really off. And to have this really soft, comforting touch is so nice. I not only loved when my husband just rubbed my back really lightly, but to have a professional come into your house, you don't have to leave, but come into your house and give you a massage is so wonderful. It was such an incredible experience. I booked 6 out, and so I could have this masseuse come in over and over and take care of my body as it healed from the inside out. I really do think this physical touch, this comfort, this movement of lymphatic drainage all played a part in healing. And I think it's such an incredible tool that's really underrated in the postpartum healing category. And number 4, this was another thing my masseuse actually did. Sitz baths. So a sitz bath is when you'll boil herbs, you can drain them, put them in bath water, and it's just going to be a low bath. It's just a shallow bath where you'll just sit into it, and it's going to really help with the perineal body. And so if you had any tearing, or even if you didn't tear, a lot of trauma goes on after a vaginal birth. So a sitz bath can help with inflammation. It's going to promote blood flow, healing. It's going to help with preventing itching or burning feelings, and it can reduce pain and swelling. So sitz baths are really great to do on a regular basis, and you can actually boil this sitz bath and strain it and then put it into a bottle, and so you can just rinse with that after going to the bathroom. But the more you can get these rinses to the perineal body, the more healing that can go on. And after birth, things are swollen, they're having a hard time, and this can really help. Now, number 5, it's kind of a 2-for-1. Number 1, and this honestly should have been at the top of my list, rest. You gotta rest. In this go, go, go world we live in, we are bombarded with images of people bouncing back and getting back into the gym and doing things immediately postpartum, but you need to heal. And everybody's healing is going to be different, but you need to rest. And this is such a beautiful time that you get to rest and spend with your child, because you'll have plenty of time to work out later. You'll have plenty of time to run errands or go to the mall or go to a restaurant. You'll have all that time later, but you won't get this time back of these few few early weeks with your newborn when you're just experiencing life together and taking it nice and slow. Rest is so important. But paired with that, sunlight. You want to get that vitamin D in. If you can get vitamin D, unfiltered sunshine for 20 minutes every single day, that can make a huge difference in your overall mood and how you're feeling every single day. This is something I did regularly. I had rest all day, but then I would go outside and get that unfiltered sunshine to get that vitamin D. But also it was great for Avery to get outside as well. A little change of energy, a change of scenery, and get yourself some sunshine, because that's going to make a huge difference. But you got to rest. You got to get some sunshine. And then as you heal a little bit more, then you can get into some walks, and that's going to feel so nice to just, again, get a different energy, different scenery around you, and just see the world and light up that vagus nerve. Feel good. That's what you want to do, is feel good. And taking it nice and easy is going to get you there. Now, there are 4 things that helped me and Brian tremendously in that newborn period and feeling really good and happy and enjoying our time together and our time with Avery. So I want to share all 4 of those things, because who knows, they might help you. Number 1, sleep shifts. This was something our doula recommended early on. She came by in the first week and I was still on my oxytocin high from birth. And so I was like, oh, I don't need to sleep. I'm fine. I hadn't slept probably in 3 days. And she was like, okay, we need to do something a little bit different. How about Brian stays up in the first shift with Avery, then he goes to sleep, and then you're with her on the second shift. And so we did separate rooms. I went to bed in our room, he was down in the living room, and then we kind of moved rooms as she got a little bit older. But we were in separate spaces. I turned white noise on really loud, so I always got at least 4 to 5 hours of sleep in, and he did the same. This made a huge difference. Now, number 2, which kind of leads from that first one, is bottle feeding and breastfeeding. So we were like, well, how are we going to do that? She's feeding all night long. And she was like, well, how do you feel about bottle feeding? And we were told, do not bottle feed for 4 weeks. You're going to get nipple confusion. And so we were really scared about that. Everybody said 4 to 6 weeks, no bottles. And I was like, okay, well, I don't want to mess anything up. And she has been a doula for, I forget, 15, 20 years. She's seen thousands of babies, and she's like, I've never seen nipple confusion. What is really important is getting a slow flow nipple for your bottle and making sure you're not just dunking it back. You're holding it at an angle, so you're getting this slow flow with the bottle. So then it's not easier for her to take the bottle versus the nipple. Because if it's easier for the bottle, why would she want the nipple? That's where maybe that nipple confusion comes in. But she had never experienced that. And so we're like, okay, well, let's try it. We started adding in a bottle with my breast milk. I would just pump and get a bottle for him. And I was able to get 4 to 5 hours straight from the beginning of our newborn adventure. And it was so nice. And then I would switch and breastfeed the rest of the time while Brian slept. I was so worried about doing bottles, and it was such a game changer. I know so many friends who really struggled in that 4 to 6 week time frame who didn't do bottle feeding, and not all of them. Many did breastfeeding and did great, but they wanted to do the bottle and they were so scared to, and I was so scared to too. And then it was great. It was such a great experience, and I'm so glad we did that. It was amazing for Avery. It was amazing for us. It was amazing for our relationship. Number 3, communication. I bet you didn't see that one coming. Man, you have to really communicate when you have a child. The communication is so key. Brian loves to golf. Golfing takes a shit ton of time. Oh my God, golfing is so annoying. So I wanted to make sure that he could still golf and still enjoy that time while I didn't feel resentful for that. So one day when he came home and it had been a hard day with Avery, and I told him I was crying, I was having a really hard time, and I said, I don't want to feel resentful. How do we work through this? Instead of getting mad at him and getting pissed and not wanting to talk to him, I've just really communicated, hey, let's come up with a schedule. Let's write out our schedule every single week. And so you can have time away. I can have time away. And that leads into number 4, getting time away. Now, I don't ever want to leave Avery, like ever. Anytime I have time away, I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. And then I'm immediately sad. But having that time away has been amazing. So for him, that includes golf, maybe a trip, maybe hitting balls at the range. He loves that kind of stuff. My stuff my job is my hobby at the same time. So I love going to coffee shops and working. I love getting time away to shoot things like this. I love going to restaurants and working for a little bit. And so my time isn't a long piece like his is. Like a golf day is going to take 4 to 6 hours. Mine is going to be just like 2 to 3 hours. So I'm going to have more throughout the weekend, and then he's going to have these bigger days whenever he golfs. But we've really had to communicate that. So communication and then making sure we get time away, it feels so good to replenish like that. And then we don't feel that animosity, that resentfulness towards each other because we get that time away that other person just got that time away. Those are all the things that have helped us so much in the postpartum period. I've loved newborn stage. I've really loved it. It's such a beautiful stage, and it's full of so many changes, and so many changes all the time. Every single day, every waking moment is filled with change, and it's really beautiful. But since I put myself first in my healing, and since I put my relationship first in our communication, things have gone really smoothly. We've had some bumps in the road, both with my body and with our communication, but we've been able to figure out things really quickly because of these tools we put in place. So I hope some of these help you, because the doula telling me that we could bottle feed when I was told never to bottle feed unless it's past 4 to 6 weeks. Oh my God, it relieves so much stress. And to know that nutrient dense foods can make a huge difference in my body and healing, it's amazing. The bodies are so cool what they can do, and you can heal yourself and you can feel amazing. And know that your experience might be different, but hopefully some of these tools help you a little bit. Now, if you want to hear about my birth, I will make sure to link that in the description below. I share my whole birth story along with a Q&A, so you can listen to some of the answers from people's questions on Instagram. And then stay tuned. I have a couple more videos I think you're going to like. I'm Juli Bauer Roth of PaleoMG. Thank you so much for joining me, and I can't wait to share more soon.